Welcome back to the Gold IRA Blueprint podcast. We're diving deep today into precious metals investing, and we're focusing on Kirk Elliott, a leading expert in this field.
Sounds fascinating.
We'll be using a recent article from goldirablueprint.com as our guide. We'll explore everything from who Kirk Elliott is to the benefits and risks of investing in precious metals. And for those of you thinking about a gold IRA, we've got a special bonus for you, a free checklist to help you choose the right gold IRA company. You can find it at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive. Okay, let's jump in.
You know what I find fascinating is how precious metals, particularly gold, have always had this unique allure, almost a mythical quality. Throughout history, they've been used as currency symbols of wealth and power, even objects of religious significance.
It's true. If you think about ancient civilizations, gold is always there. Egyptian tombs to Incan temples. It just seems to have this inherent value that transcends time and culture.
Yeah.
But let's bring it back to the present day. This article really focuses on Kirk Elliott and his role in the modern precious metals market. So who is this guy?
Well, Kirk Elliott is a financial advisor. He's got a PhD, and he founded Sovereign Advisors, a firm specializing in precious metals. But he's not just a numbers guy. He's known for his deep economic insights and his ability to connect those insights to practical wealth management strategies for his clients.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I see that in the article. It really emphasizes how he goes beyond just saying, buy this or sell that. He focuses on educating his clients, helping them understand the why behind their investment decisions, which seems super important, especially in a field like precious metals where there can be a lot of hype and misinformation.
Absolutely. You just can't make sound financial decisions without understanding the fundamentals, and Kirk Elliott seems committed to that educational aspect.
For sure. Okay, so before we get too deep into Kirk Elliott's approach, let's step back and just talk about precious metals themselves. The article defines them as rare, valuable elements with a wide range of applications. From investments in jewelry to even industrial uses. We're talking gold, silver, platinum, palladium. These aren't just pretty trinkets, are they?
No, not at all. They have intrinsic value because of their real-world uses. Like, for example, gold. Gold has exceptional conductivity and resistance to corrosion, which makes it really valuable in electronics and various high-tech applications. Silver has antibacterial properties, so it's used in medicine and water purification, so their value goes way beyond just their market price.
Okay, that makes sense. But why would someone choose to invest in precious metals specifically? What are the advantages?
Well, precious metals have historically been seen as a hedge against inflation. Because their supply is limited, they tend to hold their value better than paper currencies, especially during times of economic uncertainty. When inflation is high, think of it as a way to protect your purchasing power.
Oh, okay, so in a way it's about preserving your wealth, rather than necessarily trying to get rich quick.
Exactly. It's a long-term strategy focused on stability, safeguarding your assets from those economic headwinds.
I see. The article also mentions portfolio diversification, which, we touched on earlier. Spreading your investments across different asset classes can help manage risk. But how do precious metals fit into that?
Well, precious metals often have an inverse correlation with the stock market. When stocks go down, precious metals tend to go up, and vice versa. So by including precious metals in your portfolio, you're basically creating a counterbalance. If one part of your portfolio is struggling, the other might be performing well. This can help mitigate losses and smooth out your overall returns.
That's really interesting. It's like having a backup plan for your investments, a way to cushion the blow if things get rocky in the stock market.
Exactly. Achieving balance and resilience in your portfolio, especially crucial as you approach retirement.
Speaking of retirement, for those listening who are considering a gold IRA, don't forget to check out our free checklist at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive. It's packed with valuable tips for choosing the right gold IRA company for you.
It's a great resource,
Yeah,
especially for those new to precious metal IRAs.
absolutely. Okay, so let's get back to Kirk Elliott. He's not just a financial advisor.
Right.
This article dives into some of the services he offers through Sovereign Advisors.
Right. He offers a range of services, from traditional IRA investments to specialized gold IRAs to broader wealth management strategies. He even provides consulting for nonprofits, which is pretty unique.
Wow, so he really seems to cover the spectrum, from those specialized gold IRAs to broader wealth management. So for someone new to this, could you explain how a gold IRA differs from a traditional IRA and why someone might choose that route?
Sure. A traditional IRA typically holds assets like stocks and bonds, whereas a gold IRA allows you to hold physical gold or other precious metals within your retirement account. People choose gold IRAs for a variety of reasons, often centered around diversification and a desire for a tangible asset that historically holds its value well, especially during economic downturns.
It's almost like having a piece of history in your retirement portfolio.
I like that analogy. It speaks to that enduring value and sense of stability that precious metals represent for many investors.
Makes you wonder if those ancient civilizations were onto something using gold as a store of value.
But let's shift gears a bit. We've talked about the potential upside of precious metals. But this article doesn't shy away from the risks either. Things like market volatility, price fluctuations, and limited liquidity. These are all things potential investors need to understand right.
Absolutely. Every investment has risks. And precious metals are no exception. It's essential to go into this with a clear understanding of both the potential rewards and the downsides.
So true. Let's break those risks down a bit. First, there's that market volatility. What does that mean in the context of precious metals?
Market volatility just refers to the fact that prices can go up and down, sometimes pretty dramatically, in response to various factors. While precious metals are considered stable over the long term, they're not immune to short-term price swings.
So even though gold has held its value for centuries, it doesn't mean its price is always going up. Exactly. You might see periods of rapid price increases followed by declines. It's the nature of markets, and it's why having a long-term perspective is so important when investing in precious metals.
Okay, that makes sense. The article also mentions those price fluctuations. It seems like a lot of factors can influence the price of precious metals, beyond just basic supply and demand.
Right. We're talking about global economic conditions, geopolitical events, currency fluctuations, interest rate movements, even investor sentiment. It's a really complex interplay of forces that can drive prices up or down.
So it's not as simple as just looking at a historical price chart
Yeah.
and assuming that trend will just continue.
Exactly. It requires a much deeper understanding of all those factors at play
Yeah.
and how they might influence the market moving forward.
Right. And lastly, the article brings up limited liquidity. This one I always find a bit tricky. Can you explain what liquidity means when we're talking about investments and why it matters for precious metals?
Sure. Liquidity basically refers to how easily you can buy or sell an asset without affecting its price. Highly liquid assets can be traded quickly and easily. Without causing major price shifts, less liquid assets might be harder to sell quickly, or you might have to accept a lower price to find a buyer.
Okay, so if you need to access your money quickly, investing in something with high liquidity is generally better.
That's a key takeaway. And precious metals, especially if you're holding physical gold or silver, can be less liquid than other assets, like stocks or bonds. It's definitely something to consider, especially if you think you might need to access those funds in the short term.
Okay, this is all really helpful to understand the risks involved. Now let's go back to Kirk Elliott. The article highlights what sets him apart from other financial advisors. One thing that stands out is his focus on personalized financial strategies. Can you elaborate on what that means?
Well, Kirk Elliott's approach is very tailored to the individual. He doesn't believe in a one-size-fits-all solution. He takes the time to understand each client's unique goals, risk tolerance, and overall circumstances. Then, based on that understanding, he develops a customized strategy designed to meet their specific needs.
So it's not just about, pushing a product or some pre-packaged investment plan.
No, not at all. It's about building a relationship with the client, understanding their aspirations,
Yeah.
and creating a roadmap that aligns with their vision of financial well-being.
That's great. And I'm also seeing that he puts a big emphasis on financial literacy. Why is that so important to him? How does he incorporate that into his work?
Well, he believes that financial literacy is empowering. He wants his clients to understand not just what they're investing in, but why. He spends time explaining the concepts, answering questions, and making sure his clients feel confident in their understanding of the strategies.
That's a key distinction. In your experience, how crucial is that educational aspect?
Yeah.
Especially in a field like precious metals where there can be so much misinformation.
Absolutely crucial. When people feel well-informed and they understand the rationale behind their decisions, they're more likely to stay the course even when markets fluctuate. They're less likely to panic and make impulsive choices that could harm their long-term financial well-being.
It makes sense. Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to your money. Now, the article also mentions his philanthropic work. What can you tell us about that?
Well, Kirk Elliott is actively involved in supporting various nonprofits and charitable organizations. He believes in giving back to the community and making a positive impact beyond finance.
It's always inspiring to see someone who is successful,
Yeah.
but also uses their platform to contribute to a greater good.
It speaks volumes about his character and his value.
For sure. Well, we've covered a lot so far, from understanding precious metals investing to exploring Kirk Elliott's approach. Before we move on, I want to remind our listeners who are interested in learning more about gold IRAs to check out the free checklist at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive. It's a great resource for anyone considering adding precious metals to their retirement plan.
It's a valuable tool for navigating the complexities of gold IRAs and choosing the right company.
Absolutely. Now I'm curious to hear what Kirk Elliott's clients have to say about their experiences working with him. This article highlights both positive and negative reviews, which is helpful for getting a well-rounded perspective. Shall we dive into those?
Let's. It's always interesting to see how an advisor's approach actually plays out in the real world for their clients.
Yeah, and the article starts with the positive reviews.
Hmm.
And one thing that really jumps out is Kirk Elliott's ability to break down those complex financial topics in a way that's easy to understand. Seems like he's really good at meeting people where they are, regardless of their background with finance.
Yeah, that's a really valuable skill for any financial advisor. It's not about impressing clients with jargon or technical terms. It's about empowering them with knowledge and making sure they feel comfortable and confident in the decisions they're making.
Exactly. And several reviewers specifically praise his patience and willingness to answer questions, even if they seem basic or repetitive. That must create a sense of trust and transparency, which is so important in any financial relationship.
Absolutely. Trust is the foundation of any successful advisor-client relationship. When clients feel heard and understood, they're more likely to open up about their concerns, their goals, and their anxieties about finances. That really allows the advisor to develop a personalized strategy that truly addresses their needs.
Yeah, and speaking of personalized strategies, that's another thing that keeps coming up in the positive reviews. Clients appreciate that Kirk Elliott takes the time to understand their unique circumstances and tailors his recommendations to them, so it's not like a cookie-cutter approach.
No, not at all. That's
Yeah.
a key differentiator. A lot of financial advisors rely on those pre-packaged investment plans or standardized models, but Kirk Elliott seems to take a much more bespoke approach, recognizing that everyone's financial journey is different.
Right, it's like having a financial roadmap that's specifically designed to get you where you want to go, taking into account your individual starting point and the terrain you'll be facing along the way.
I like that analogy. It captures the essence of personalized financial planning.
Yeah, for sure. Now, it's important to acknowledge that not every review is glowing. The article does point out some negative feedback too, and a common thread seems to be occasional delays in communication or responses that lack clarity, particularly regarding the finer points of investment strategies.
Right. Well, communication is crucial in any relationship, but especially in finance, where decisions can have significant long-term consequences. It's understandable that clients would be frustrated if they're not getting timely or clear responses to their questions.
Yeah, and it seems like an area where there's room for improvement, maybe by streamlining those communication processes or providing more detailed explanations up front to kind of minimize the need for those follow-up questions.
I agree. But it's also worth noting that even those who expressed frustrations with communication, they often still praise Kirk Elliott's overall expertise and the value he brings to their financial journey.
Right. It's always a balancing act. No advisor is perfect.
Mm.
And there will always be areas where clients have different preferences or expectations.
Mm.
It's about weighing those pros and cons and deciding what factors are most important to you personally.
Exactly. Finding the right financial advisor is such a personal decision. It's about finding someone you trust, someone who gets your goals, and someone who can communicate effectively with you.
Absolutely. And for our listeners interested in learning more about Kirk Elliott and his approach, the article does provide some ways to contact him.
Yes, they can visit his firm's website, give his office a call, or shoot him an email. They're available for consultations, which can be a great way to get a feel for his style and see if it's a good fit for them.
It's like a test drive before you buy the car. You get to ask questions, see what their personality is like, and if their approach aligns with your needs.
Exactly. And for those who are interested specifically in gold IRAs, don't forget to check out that free checklist at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive. It's full of valuable tips and insights to help you navigate this whole world.
Right. Well, I think that about wraps up our deep dive into Kirk Elliott and the world of precious metals investing. We learned about the history of precious metals, the potential benefits and risks of investing in them today. We learned about Kirk Elliott's unique approach, with his focus on personalized strategies, financial literacy, and building strong client relationships.
Yes, we talked about diversification, hedging against inflation, and finding an advisor who truly understands your goals and concerns.
And we emphasize the importance of considering both the positive and the negative feedback when evaluating any financial advisor or service.
Definitely.
I want to thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep striving for financial well-being.